Hi, I'm Zoe Wolf. This is my 5th assignment. This was kind of one of my favorites, and it was a lot of fun actually. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I initially forgot that it was supposed to be, a wall, so initially it was just kind of this boulder. But either way, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. So I did mine in HDRP. And if we go to the shader here, we see moss, if it wants to load. There we go. So I'll kind of get some into all these exposed variables later, but you can see here that this essentially is a combination of the rock and then the moss up here. And we take, a lot of dot products and we multiply them and power them so that we can control what direction the moss comes from, as well as we have the normal strengths of the rock and the moss so that the normals are affected as well. I tried to make sure every aspect was different, so you can see like the difference in normals between the two and even how different in shiny and glossiness they are. And so now if we go into the material itself, let's look at this wall first. I made them slightly different because I liked the different parameters on each. So if we look here, we can kind of control the direction. So right now it's coming from underneath, but say I wanted it to be on top, I just switched that to 1, and now it's growing from the top. In the Z direction, I currently have it as -1 as well. If I switch that to 1, we see it will flip to the other side of the wall. And if I change this to 0, it'll just be on the top, so we can't even really see it coming out the sides right now. So that we can see it super easily, hopefully. I'm just going to put it over here for now, and I'm going to put it back to where it was. This up node also controls how strong it is in this direction, because if I put it at 1, it's completely covering the bottom. Let me make this positive so we can see. It's completely covering the top and the sides. You can kind of see in here it's not covering the bottoms. Completely not on this side. So this up node is kind of how strong it appears in each direction. So I was having that, I want to say somewhere around like here. And then we also have the spread factor, which also kind of controls how far it goes. But if we do that, we see it is pretty much impenetrable, and we get these really hard edges, which you can especially see over here. It's a really hard edge. So don't really advise doing that. These kind of combine to give you more granular control. Let me try to find about where it was. I think it was somewhere around here-ish. And then we have the fall off factor here, which also determines how sharp that edge is. These probably look like they're doing the same thing as I move the slider, but by having kind of these what might seem as kind of repeats, it gives us more granular control. We also have this repeat count. I wanted to add some tiling to it because I felt like the texture was a little too big. If I put it back here, you'll see what I mean. I felt like that was just a little too big. So I added some tiling in here. I accidentally clicked off that, hold on. And then you can see we just have our various maps here. And we have the smoothness strength as well. And that just changes the actual smoothest of the moss itself as it would get from this map. Can probably see it a bit more if I mess with it on here. Yeah, you can see just the change in the lighting from that and see how strong that smoothness gets, which looks pretty bad in my opinion when you turn it all the way up. So you turn it down some, you kind of see it lightening in some of the sides, because it's definitely less reflective. It should be less reflective than the rock. So I don't know, I mean, all the rest of the parameters work the same here. If I wanted for some reason for it to come from the side instead, there we go, now it comes from the side. I can adjust just like I could before. All of this, make it super strong if I wanted. You can especially see the fall off factor here, actually, kind of how it spreads more to those areas if we lower that.